Hello fellow crafters, my name is George and this is the Spare Time G, and today we're gonna make Godzilla emerging from the water as it was depicted in 2014 movie. So obviously Godzilla is the most famous kaiju over there and I couldn't wait to sculpt him. I have previously done the King Ghidorah on this channel, which is one of my largest and volume wise the biggest sculpture on this channel because of this wingspan. So my base is going to be this ceramic plate. It is a little bit different than my usual one. It is longer but the width is the same. I have decided to use this one because it allows me to create the torso of an animal as large as possible, and at the same time it maintains the space for the tail to emerge. And if you have seen in the intro, the tail is even going beyond the base. So you will have to cover everything up with the clay in order to create the surface where you will create torso and tail and attach them, and at the same time the clay covered and then smoothed up version will be much closer to the sea surface. So here you can see I have finished up the layer adding process and also created this little pile, so to say, where I am kind of measuring where the torso is going to be. And at the other end, at the end, I have decided to create this tail with a paper roll. Actually, the tail shape itself, which is much thicker in the base and narrows down once it approaches to the head, it really allows me to create this without any kind of wiring or attachment process other than the clay itself. The base will be quite heavy and prominent with clay, and it will support it, and it has supported it, as you can see, as you could see in the intro. So I have not used any kind of additional attachment process and so on. Of course, you will have to cover everything up with clay and then add shapes to it. It's not very important to maintain the straightness of a tail. It will be much more appealing and natural if it flows, so to say. Like take a look at the reference photos or maybe even use your imagination how or where the tail's curves should be. You can see I have smoothed up the surface of a clay with a loop tool. Of course, it is quite important to make sure that your torso is not too large or the opposite too small. So smoothing everything up really helps to determine the desired proportions. And but to be honest, you can simply leave it as it is and attach these guys, which are spikes or rocky thingies. And to be honest, if you have seen the trailers, they are going to be different than it was in 2014. It's going to be more like accurate to the source material, but to be honest, I really liked the 2014 version spikes, which are more like blade looking. They looked like a megalodon tooth, so to say, and the new ones are quite kind of crude and not as sharp looking as this one is. So I had taken much larger inspiration from the 2014 movie, but yeah, still added some kind of source materials near the tail. So once you're done with addition and you have created pretty much every single plate, every single bump of these rocky things, make sure that use some kind of tool which is comfortable for you in order to blend these connection points as much as possible. It's quite a tough and boring work, to be honest, but it is more or less necessary. But don't go too far, as you will have to use the tool to shape and scratch and create some kind of bumps and dips into the skin of an animal as it is depicted in the movie and on the images, of course. So it's not really important to have this smooth skin on the surface. You can see that the tail portion is finished, and I will right now do the same thing with the torso. And as you have smoothed up, cracked, scratched, dipped and bumped the surface of our animal, it is done, and you can right now go over the sea surface and make sure to tag those places where the waves are going to be coming up over or even covering the part and portion of the animal's body in order to create this image of 3D flow as if Godzilla is swimming in front. So once you have painted the overall sea with a dark blue, you can then get into the painting of the animal body. It's not really necessary to follow the source material, but I kind of wanted to create as much resemblance as I could, so have used this dark gray, which is more or less prominently established in the movie, that our animal is dark grayish, maybe more like brownish in some shots, but I'm not very sure about that. And after painting, our guy is done. I have simply added the white paint on the connection points between the animal body and the water, which makes it look like as if Godzilla is moving in forward direction. And yeah, this project is kind of new for me. The only thing I have done previously was the submarine for the Hunter Killer movie, and I really like this kind of perspective, especially the fact that the animal is not showing entirely. Kind of makes you wonder, what does it look like in actuality? How large is it, or how large can it be? Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed making it. It was quite fun, a little bit challenging, but the outcome was fascinating for me. I do really like this kind of underwater there is something thingy projects, and really hope that you will get started doing it as well. Have a nice day and see you next time. Goodbye.